because David McCombs loved life. I never met anybody who had a bigger, kinder, more generous heart than David did. And when you met him, he was really genuine. There was no pretense with David. David showed you who he was all the time, and that's why he had such good friends. David has people here from high school. I barely had friends in high school. But no, David makes friends and he keeps them, and they are deep and loyal and lasting relationships to him. And I always admired him for that. And David loves the beauty of the desert. He loved animals. He used to feed the rabbits at his house, the wild rabbits, because they were cute. That was David. And David had a special relationship with animals, just like he had with people. Animals sensed how genuine that David was. There was a horse named Kabara that lived right next door to David's house. And every night when he came home from work, he sat on the fence rail and he fed that horse carrots and he talked to her. And she loved him. And after about a month, she started nudging the fence. Come on, David, get on, buddy. And he did. He slid on that horse, no saddle, no bridle, no nothing. And he laid down on her back and he fell asleep. And that horse just carried him for an hour more until he woke up, because she just loved him. And that's just how David was. And Stetson, Cynthia's horse, he loved Stetson. Those guys would go out on the trail and they'd see some big hill that was nothing but shale rock. And David would go, come on, buddy, can you do it? Oh, for you, yeah. And there he went. Those two were so bonded. And it so amazes me that somebody like David, who loved life so deeply and so much and loved all of us so much, could go where he went. But I also know that David was in a lot of chronic pain. And chronic pain, it gets to you, because that's why they call it chronic. It just doesn't stop. It's every minute of every day, every time you wake up, every time you go to sleep, and you can medicate it all you want, and it is always still there. And David had a lot of emotional pain that crept into his life. And when you add that to the chronic pain, you kind of get to this point in your life that there's so much pain that you stop seeing the bigger picture. You stop seeing the bigger world. And I kind of think of it as if, like in The Revenant, right? Some grizzly bear has got you by the thigh and they're picking you up and they're shaking you around. You're not thinking about what you're having for dinner tomorrow night. Heck no. All you're thinking about is getting away from that pain. And David fell down that rabbit hole and he just got stuck there. And I wish to God that we could have done more for him to get him out, but like my mom says, what is. And I know for a fact that David loved all of us. That's who he was. And if for a minute, the reality of what he was doing and how it was going to affect all of us had it crept into his head, he never would have done this. He just wouldn't have. He loved all of us too much. But he was so lost down that hole that he thought this was the only thing that he could do to stop the pain. And that's what makes me the most sad, is for the last second in his life that he was at that space. Because I don't ever want to remember David that way. Nope, I don't want to think of him as being that much pain. I just want to think of what a lovely, wonderful, truly amazing guy that he was. And I hope that's how you all remember him too.
David lived. That's probably my biggest impression, is David lived. He lived larger than life. The five of us were not couch potatoes, but he was the one who was always out there. He was the one on the horses. He was the one hiking the Sierras and the San Bernardinos. He had the dirt bike. He had the quad cycle. Flipped me a couple times. But he was the one who was always out there and always doing things no matter what. Kathy's mentioned toward the end it got kind of rough. Lost a kid, needed cancer, had some hip joints replaced, it got really rough. And in the end, we lost him. but as a Christian, I still have to proclaim, David lives. Now I'd like to read a poem that my brother Tom wrote. He couldn't be here with us, unfortunately. David McCombs, my younger brother. I broke my arm protecting him as we fell from a horse. I hiked with him from San Gregorio to Mission Creek, Kearsarge Pass to Ray Lakes. I treated his leg when he crushed it under a gun safe. I took him to Australia. Everyone loved David. Go with care, my brother.
Hi, good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming. I know some of you came a very long distance. I can't add too much to what my sister and brother Pat said, but I want to say a couple of things. One is the picture I showed of him is cropped out from a picture of him holding it, and our maybe 6-year-old niece Joanna was here, and you see that smile on his face, and the love that he had for her was the same for all of us. As Father said, we grew up here, most of you who knew us then, just down the block, the adventures we had, the wonderful hikes and all the things and the Mission Creek trips. I was also an altar boy. There was one issue during that time with some missing sacramental wine. I don't think I ever had to go to confession for that, Father, so I'm going to leave that at that. To just amplify a bit of what Catherine said, I saw David frequently over the last 7-8 years of his life as his medical conditions grew steadily greater and greater, and his pain ever increasing. And it took a very once vibrant and vigorous man and just beat him and beat him and beat him. And even at the end with all the medicines, they don't help your head, they help the pain. But the David you see in that picture is the David I know, and always will. Miss you very much, bro. So, God bless and thank you all. Our family and some very close friends of David's over the years who already know are getting together afterwards at my mother's. I regret that I can't invite everybody. It's kind of a private affair, and we don't have the room. It's a small home. So forgive me if you're not going to join us, but thank you so much for joining us today. And Father, thank you. Father did some, I got to tell you a real quick story. I was on the phone with him when we finally inked this date and time, and this is not a joke or a story. He told me a thunderstorm rolled over my home. It started raining, thunder, lightning, and I told him on the phone, I'm pretty sure you got God in your pocket, Father. Because I had been trying to put this thing together for a couple of weeks, and I was getting at my wits' end. So, and Emily and the girls from the choir, thank you so much. With that, Father has a very busy schedule, has to go over Fontana and do some other clerical duties, and so God bless you all, and thank you for coming.